Hey everybody, welcome to Riva Tech Talk. I'm your demo leader, Bill George. Riva Tech Talk is all about how data drives the world and Riva drives data. Today, we're going to be discussing a core function of Riva's relationship engine, contact syncing. There's 3 out-of-the-box methods for how Riva can sync contacts: bidirectionally and automatic, bidirectionally and by categorization, and finally, unidirectionally from CRM to email. So with that, let's get to the demo and take a look. First, I'm just going to kind of give you a little visual reference here of my contacts module pre-configuration in Outlook. We can see my default contacts here. There's not too many of them. When we're done and we enable the sync, we're going to see a separate contact folder show up in here, and that's going to be the one that Riva syncs with. So with that, let's go to the administrative portal, go to the configuration tab, and when we look at the top here, we see we get to define a category name and a category color. So in this case, I'm just going to call it Salesforce, and we'll categorize it as peach. And then below that, we have create separate contact folder. And this is what I was saying earlier. We're going to create a separate contact folder within Outlook. Just so you know, that separate contact folder will borrow the same name that you're applying to the category. So in this case, that folder is going to show up as Salesforce. And below that, we have auto-synchronized new contact calendar and task items. Sounds exactly as it is. Anything created or modified within that folder on the calendar, those are going to sync automatically. Oops. And going down from there, we get into our modules. So in this case, we're going to sync contacts and leads. And from there, we have the ability to, or the options to sync either by owner or by all visible. So by owner sounds exactly as it is. I have to be the owner of those contacts in order for them to sync into Outlook. If we were going by all visible, then we think a little bit more about the hierarchy, the Salesforce hierarchy, or roles and permissions, where any contact I have visibility to will sync into Outlook. And then from there, we have our direction. In this case, we're going to keep it as bidirectional, but the other option would be CRM to mailbox, which we will discuss. And down below that, just the name format. I'm syncing by first name, last name. We could also have the contact sync by last name, first name. And then below that, we have the ability to replace the contact's website with a quick link to CRM. So especially in cases where an organization might be syncing contacts unidirectionally, so from CRM to mailbox, this little feature comes in really, really handy because it allows the end user to just click on that website field and it will take them right to that contact in Salesforce in this case, so that they can make any modifications to or see any recent interactions with them. And then below that, we have the ability to limit the number of contacts that are going to show up in the Outlook module. In this case, I'm not going to use that because I don't have that many contacts in my demo environment. But this is a good option for any organization that's dealing with many contacts and just limiting them, from coming into Outlook. One important thing to note with this particular option is if you are dealing with multiple thousands of contacts and you want them syncing into Outlook in a certain way, it's best to reach out to the Riva success team or the client engagement team to communicate that with them so that they can come up with the best configuration options to ensure that your contacts are syncing the way that you want. So with that, I'm going to go save my work. And in order to enable my policy, I just got to go back into Edit Policy, Enable. We'll save that. Perfect. Now we're syncing. We're going to go to Outlook, and we'll look for that Salesforce contacts folder to show up. There it is. Perfect. Nothing in there yet. I'm going to quickly change my view to phone, and we can see the contacts populating into that Salesforce folder with that appropriate Salesforce category applied to it. So now, the end user behavior is very simple. In this case, I'm going to go do a quick modification to this contact. I'm going to add some phone numbers here. Something like that. The behavior would be the same if I was creating a contact or in this case, modifying. All I have to do is fill out all the appropriate fields, save and close my work, and Riva will take care of the rest. So it'll either modify those fields in Salesforce or create the new contact. And then, if you remember, I'll pull up that contact again. Remember me talking about that website field being replaced with the URL. I can click on that URL, and that'll take me directly to that contact record in Salesforce. So like I said, if an organization is syncing unidirectionally, it's just a quick way for that end user to get into that particular contact record in Salesforce, make any edits they need to, or take any notes or anything like that. So that was bidirectional and automatic sync. After that, we've got bidirectional and by category. So as we can see in this screenshot, there is no Salesforce folder. Riva is syncing to the default folder. So up above, we can see all of my default contacts. So these are non-CRM facing contacts. Below that, we've got all of my Salesforce contacts, and we know that they're Salesforce contacts because they have that appropriate category applied to them. In this case, an end user, if they wanted to create a contact, would go about it the exact same way, except they have to ensure that they're actually categorizing that contact in order for it to sync into CRM. Similarly, if they wanted to modify a contact, they just have to ensure that they're modifying a CRM or Salesforce categorized contact in order for those modifications to sync to CRM. And then finally, we have unidirectional sync from CRM to email. So if we go back to my demo environment here, the end user experience or how it looks in Salesforce is very much the same. I can see all my contacts, and regardless of if I was syncing to the Salesforce folder like we see here, or if I was syncing to the default folder, so syncing by categorization, the contacts are going to show up the same way. This is the preferred method for organizations who see their CRM data or their contact data as the record of truth. They don't want modifications or creations coming from Outlook. So any modifications or creations will have to be done in Salesforce. And those are the 3 out-of-the-box configurations. All right, so let's recap what we went through today. I configured my demo to sync bidirectionally and automatically so that Riva creates a separate contacts folder within the Outlook contacts module. Contacts created or modified within that folder will sync appropriately to Salesforce. Contacts created or modified within Salesforce will sync to Outlook appropriately. We then looked at a bidirectional sync, but by categorization. So Riva is only looking at and syncing with categorized contacts. So end users, if they want to create a contact, they have to categorize it as that specific Salesforce category. Or if they want to modify a contact, they have to make sure that they're modifying a categorized contact. And finally, we looked at unidirectional sync from CRM to email and when that might be appropriate for some organizations to use. So please keep in mind that these are all out-of-the-box configurations. If you have what you think is a complex requirement or a custom contact sync requirement, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to have those discussions, and we're more than happy to meet the needs of enterprise customers. With that being said, be sure to check out some of the other videos in the demo library. If there's something you'd like to see, leave a comment, or again, feel free to reach out to us directly, and we'll be happy to help you. Thanks for joining us on Tech Talk, and we'll see you next time.